कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to all the dear friends. We welcome each one of you to our digital show, which is Business Opportunity Over Chai. This is the platform through which we will give you the correct and the complete understanding about the business opportunity franchise solution which we have got for you. So please maximize this particular opportunity with us. Share your all the question and answers in share your all the queries in question and answer box. Franchise India team is doing this webinar every day so that you digitally interact with the brand founder and the leadership team. Franchise India team is helping day in, day out all the investors in getting the maximum business opportunity so that you take a conscious decision of selecting the right franchise for yourself. We welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am. They'll be sharing their input, their viewpoint, their suggestion with all the investors joining us today for this webinar. The brand which we are bringing for all our investors comes under a low cost opportunity, which can be started with as low as 5 lakh rupees. White Tiger. It's a leader in the quality dry cleaning sector in India. And today we have invited Mr. Arnab Sinha, who's a very successful businessman, entrepreneur, and a leader in his own category to talk about White Tiger. Thank you so much, Arnab. It is our privilege to welcome you and to talk about White Tiger brand. Can we start with a beautiful presentation from your side, sir?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Archana. And thank you so much to the entire Franchise India team for this wonderful opportunity to showcase White Tiger to you. I'm just going to share my presentation and then I'll quickly jump into presenting it to everyone. So White Tiger is a brand that was started in 2001. And in many ways, White Tiger can be considered to be the pioneers and in many ways the creator of the organized dry cleaning sector in India. So when I say they are the creators and when I say that White Tiger is the founder of quality dry cleaning in India, I don't mean to say कि White Tiger के पहले India में dry cleaning नहीं होती थी. But if you study about the history of laundry and dry cleaning in India, you would realize कि 2001 के पहले जो इंडिया में ड्राई क्लीनिंग होती थी या जो लॉन्ड्री होती थी वो प्रीडोमिनेंटली लोकल धोबी करता था. It is even safe to say that before 2001, the industry was 100% unorganized, 100% controlled by the local dhobi who used to do everything manually. So whatever you used to get dry cleaned before 2001, it was actually all manual dry cleaning and done using petrol. which is the most corrosive and most hazardous form of dry cleaning. And when the founders of White Tiger, they created dry cleaning in India, they absolutely changed the dry cleaning paradigm shift. And then they actually created an absolutely new industry. And that is why White Tiger continues to be a very, very strong brand even today in 2021. So in today's presentation, we'll start off, I'll play a 3 minutes video with you. This will give you a lot of clarity into how the operations of a typical dry cleaning unit of White Tiger works. It is important here to understand that White Tiger works on what is called a hub and spoke model, जहां पर there is one centralized processing plant and then you have multiple collection centers distributed around the plant जो कि कपड़ों को कलेक्ट करते हैं और उसके बाद प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट पर करते हैं. So you will get a lot of clarity on this particular model as we move forward. Then we will talk about the journey of White Tiger. उसके बाद I'll talk about the franchise models that are there on offer. I will help you understand the business. And very importantly, I will like to talk about why White Tiger makes sense in today's turbulent times. आज COVID-19 के टाइम पर जब सारे businesses इतने ज़्यादा disrupt हुए हैं, adversely impact हुए हैं, इस टाइम पर White Tiger जैसा business इतना ज़्यादा make sense क्यों करता है? And then I'll throw open the floor to any questions that anyone might have. So now quickly jumping into this video, which will give you enough clarity into how the operations of White Tiger work. So I think that video would have given you a lot of clarity into the how the operations of a typical white tiger processing plant works. जैसा मैंने पहले मेंशन किया था कि व्हाइट टाइगर वर्क्स ऑन व्हाट इज कॉल्ड अ हब एंड स्पोक मॉडल. हब एंड स्पोक मॉडल का मतलब होता है कि यू विल हैव वन सेंट्रलाइज्ड प्लांट और उसके 10-15 किलोमीटर के अंदर मल्टीपल कलेक्शन सेंटर्स सेटअप होंगे. नाउ दिस प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट, इस प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट में आपके सारे इक्विपमेंट, सारे मशीनरी इंस्टॉल होंगे, वेदर इट इज फॉर लॉन्ड्री, ड्राई क्लीनिंग, कारपेट क्लीनिंग, बैग्स क्लीनिंग, शू क्लीनिंग. और ये जो कलेक्शन सेंटर्स हैं, दीज वुड बी टिपिकली वेरी स्मॉल यूनिट्स. सो 50 to 100 स्क्वायर फीट के एरिया पे ये कलेक्शन सेंटर सेटअप होंगे. एंड दीज कलेक्शन सेंटर्स विल नॉट हैव एनी क्लीनिंग कैपेबिलिटीज. तो कलेक्शन सेंटर का काम होगा सिर्फ कस्टमर के घर से गंदे कपड़े कलेक्ट करना और उसके बाद एक फिक्स टाइम पर प्लांट की तरफ से एक व्हीकल कलेक्शन सेंटर पर आएगा, सारे गंदे कपड़े कलेक्ट करके वापस प्लांट पर जाएंगे, वहां पर क्लीन करके पैकेज करके द क्लोथ्स विल अगेन बी डिलीवर्ड टू द कलेक्शन सेंटर. And from collection center, it is the responsibility of the collection center to deliver the plants back, the clothes back to the customer. So ये पूरा process seamlessly एक hub and spoke model के basis पर run होता है. Now, before I talk more about the model and the franchise opportunity, I would like to talk about the story of White Tiger. And this is a very interesting story. So White Tiger की story start होती है आज से करीब 20 साल पहले. And White Tiger is actually the brainchild of the owners of a company called Shiv Vani Oil and Gas, which is a publicly listed company and one of the biggest oil drilling companies globally. तो शिव वानी ऑयल एंड गैस के जो फाउंडर्स थे, द सिंघवी ब्रदर्स, दे हैड दिस हैबिट ऑफ वेयरिंग ड्राई क्लीन क्लोथ्स. उन्हें एक बार उन्होंने एक कपड़ा पहन लिया तो उसके बाद दे डेफिनेटली वांटेड टू गेट इट ड्राई क्लीन्ड बिफोर दे वोर इट फॉर द सेकेंड टाइम. अब अनफॉर्चुनेटली व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द लेट 90s, उस समय इंडिया में क्वालिफाइड ड्राई क्लीनर्स अवेलेबल नहीं थे, सारे लोकल धोबीज थे. So the Singhvi brothers actually used to send their clothes all the way to Dubai for dry cleaning और वहां से कपड़े dry clean होकर वापस इंडिया आते थे. And this really used to pain the founders. So उन्हें realize हुआ कि जब इंडिया में इतनी बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, जब उनकी खुद की फैमिली कपड़े बाहर भेजती है, then why not get into this business and create something by Indians for Indians. So in 2001 they started with a small plant in Delhi, जहां से उन्होंने अपने आसपास के लोगों के कपड़े ड्राई क्लीन करने शुरू किए. एंड वेरी सून दे स्टार्टेड गेटिंग अ वेरी गुड रिस्पॉन्स. And that is when they realized that the kind of demand that they are getting from across Delhi NCR is very high, and this small setup would not be able to cater it. That is when they took a professional decision and they set up a plant which till today is the largest dry cleaning plant ever set in the history of India. So they bought out a very large land parcel in Greater Noida और वहां पर उन्होंने the most advanced equipment and machinery इटली से import करी और वहां पर dry cleaning का state of the art plant setup किया. It got ISO certified, and at that point in time it was possibly the largest dry cleaning plant anywhere in Asia. And that is how the story of White Tiger started. And very soon they realized that they are getting demand from all across Noida, all across Delhi, and doing a pickup and drop from Greater Noida to Noida or Greater Noida to Delhi would be a very big challenge. So that is when they created the concept of collection centers. And they started what is the hub and spoke model of White Tiger, जहां पर नोएडा में प्रोसेसिंग प्लांट था और अक्रॉस पूरे नोएडा सिटी में छोटे छोटे कलेक्शन सेंटर्स थे जहां पर कपड़े इकट्ठे होते थे और वहां से फिर प्लांट पर जाते थे फॉर फर्दर प्रोसेसिंग एंड पैकेजिंग. द रिस्पॉन्स वॉज वेरी गुड एंड वेरी सून दे स्टार्टेड एक्सपैंडिंग अक्रॉस दिल्ली एनसीआर. एक टाइम पर by the time they were in 2010-11 they already had more than 60-70 collection centers in Delhi NCR, and that is when they also started getting demand from other parts of the country. So till that time, till about 2008, 17, 18, White Tiger, all the collection centers and all the plants of White Tiger were owned directly by the company. एक plant से काम नहीं चला तो they also set up a second plant in Gurgaon. In 2018, the company took a conscious decision to get into franchising. So 2019 onwards, franchising started happening, and the last couple of years have been very exciting. White Tiger has entered multiple new territories, and today the brand has a presence in Lucknow, Kolkata, Jaipur, and Guwahati, besides a very, very strong presence in Delhi NCR. Now, before I talk about the overall roadmap and what White Tiger is envisioning to do, it is also important to understand how White Tiger is different from the other laundry and dry cleaning brands that have come up in the last 15 to 20 years. अगर आप लॉन्ड्री इंडस्ट्री के बारे में रिसर्च करेंगे, ड्राई क्लीनिंग इंडस्ट्री को समझेंगे, बैग्स क्लीनिंग, शू क्लीनिंग के बारे में आप रिसर्च करेंगे, तो what you would realize is that majority of the brands that are out there, they specialize in what is called laundry by the kilo service. लोग सर्विसेज सारी देते हैं, बट जितने भी आप ब्रांड्स उठाओगे, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ देम, उनकी जो यूएसपी है वो है किलो लॉन्ड्री, जहां पर किलो के हिसाब से कपड़े इकट्ठे होते हैं और क्लीन होते हैं, which works well for household items. White Tiger की positioning is a premium dry cleaning brand. So our specialization as White Tiger is that we are the best dry cleaners possibly in India right now, because of the kind of equipment, the kind of chemicals, and the kind of training that the Manpower has. Apart from the dry cleaning, White Tiger also specializes in premium laundry. Jahan par if you give a Zara shirt to a White Tiger store, a collection center, when you get it back, it will be as good as new. इंडिविजुअल पैकेजिंग विद कॉलर पट्टी, शर्ट कार्ड, सब कुछ इसमें लगा होगा, और आपने जिस तरह से पहली बार ज़ारा के शॉप से या किसी ब्रांडेड शॉप से उस कपड़े को खरीदा होगा, वो कपड़ा आपको वापस उसी तरह से मिलेगा. Now that White Tiger has taken a conscious decision to aggressively expand across India and become the #1 pioneers of dry cleaning in the country, the vision is कि इस साल के अंत तक we want to have 15 city master franchisees. We already have city master franchisees in Delhi NCR, in Lucknow, Kolkata, Jaipur, and we want to continue building this and at least have 15 more city master franchisees by the end of this year. Each master franchisee will have the capacity to cater to 8 to 10 collection centers. So जो plant setup होगा वो इस तरह से design होगा, उसमें इस तरह की capacity building की जाएगी ताकि वो एक बार में 8 से 10 कलेक्शन सेंटर्स को केटर कर सके. एंड वी वांट टू हैव अ प्रेजेंस ऑफ एटलीस्ट 100 मोर कलेक्शन सेंटर्स. सो इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द व्हाइट टाइगर ऑपरेशंस टुडे, the brand already has about 50 collection centers. We want to add 100 more collection centers to this list and make it the most preferred choice of Indians when it comes to dry cleaning and premium laundry. There are two models on offer. जो पहला मॉडल है विच इज द सिटी मास्टर फ्रेंचाइज मॉडल. दिस मॉडल इज फॉर ऐसी शहरों के लिए जहां पर ऑलरेडी व्हाइट टाइगर का प्रेजेंस नहीं है. सो लेट अस टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ अ सिटी लाइक चंडीगढ़, या अ सिटी लाइक पुणे, या सिटी लाइक विशाखापट्टनम, जहां पर करंटली व्हाइट टाइगर डज नॉट हैव अ प्रेजेंस. सो एनीबडी हु इज लुकिंग एट अ हाई रिटर्न, हाई इन्वेस्टमेंट मॉडल, दिस वुड बी सुटेबली कट आउट फॉर देम. तो ऐसे केस में एज अ मास्टर फ्रेंचाइज व्हेन यू जॉइन हैंड्स विद व्हाइट टाइगर, आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी उस एरिया में एक प्लांट सेटअप करना और एक मास्टर फ्रेंचाइज फी पे करना. सो टिपिकल कॉस्ट ऑफ सेटिंग अप अ व्हाइट टाइगर प्लांट वुड बी अबाउट 20 to 25 लाख रुपीज, और उसके ऊपर से 20 लाख रुपीज की फ्रेंचाइज फी होगी फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर सिटी. इफ वी टॉक अबाउट बिगर सिटीज, जैसे मुंबई की बात करें या आप बैंगलोर की बात करें, the opportunity is वहां पर multiple cities हो सकते हैं. तो we will not be giving out the rights for entire Mumbai to one single person. In fact, Mumbai will be divided into multiple smaller cities and we will be selling the rights for each of these cities. Because एक बंदे के लिए एक प्लांट से पूरा मुंबई केटर करना या पूरा हैदराबाद केटर करना is impossible. That is why for bigger cities like Mumbai, Hyderabad, Calcutta, etc., you have multiple master franchisees, and each master franchisee would then be catering to an area within 10 to 15 kilometers of their plant and helping the collection centers carry out quality cleaning process. तो मोटा मोटा total investment इसमें करीब 45 lakhs का आएगा, which will also include the cost of setting up of one plant. The second option, which is the collection center. Now this opportunity is available for cities जहां पर हमारे master franchisees already available हैं, जहां पर हमारा प्लांट ऑलरेडी एस्टैब्लिश्ड है. सो जैसे कि आप दिल्ली की बात करें, नोएडा, गुड़गांव, फरीदाबाद, गाजियाबाद, कोलकाता, जयपुर, Lucknow, ऐसी cities में we have this unique opportunity where someone can invest as little as 5 lakh rupees and get started with a White Tiger collection center. You only need about 100 square feet area and 2 qualified manpower, and you will be able to run this also as a side business. Now, when I talk about the city master franchise, which is the higher investment, higher return, bigger opportunity, यहाँ पर डिपेंडिंग ऑन किस सिटी की आप बात कर रहे हैं, द मास्टर फ्रेंचाइज फी वुड वेरी. एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंटली, व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट अ लार्ज सिटी like Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, etc., there will be an opportunity for multiple city master franchisee, और every city master franchise को अपने independent territory के exclusive rights दिए जाएंगे. As a master franchise, it is also your responsibility to develop your own logistic network. तो जैसे आपके पास शुरू में अगर एक दो कलेक्शन सेंटर हैं, तो यू कैन इवन मेक डू विद अ डिलीवरी बॉय. You can have a couple of bikers, and these bikers then can do the pickup and drop from the collection center. But जैसे जैसे आपकी टेरिटरी बढ़ेगी, मल्टीपल कलेक्शन सेंटर्स ओपन होते जाएंगे, आपके लिए शायद बाइक वुड नॉट बी अ feasible option. And that is when you need to consider investing in a four-wheeler like a Maruti Eco. ये जो आपका लॉजिस्टिक नेटवर्क है, दैट शुड बी एबल टू केटर टू collection centers that are located within 15 to 20 kilometers of your plant. So each master franchisee is expected to cater to the business volume of 8 to 10 collection centers. And जब आप master franchise की rights ले लेते हो, तो we would work very closely with you on helping you appoint collection centers under you. तो एक बार आपने plant establish कर दिया, then the brand will work with you on promoting the franchise opportunity in your territory and making sure that maximum number of collection centers can come up within that territory as soon as possible. Now, these are the areas where we are very actively looking for city master franchisees. I would say we are currently interested in the top 100 cities of India. You're already seeing the list, but this list is not all inclusive. So agar you feel that you have a good city and currently you're not seeing that particular city on this list, you can still reach out to us. We can discuss the potential with you. We can have a one-on-one discussion to understand कि आपकी city में क्या opportunity है, आपके क्या plans हैं, आपके क्या vision हैं, आपका network कितना strong है अपनी territory में. उसके basis पे we are more than happy to also consider additional cities beyond this list that you're currently seeing on your screen. Now, when we talk about the plant setup, so this is a very important piece that every master franchise needs to understand. जब हम plant की बात करते हैं, तो we need an area of 800 to 1000 square feet. And ideally, what I would recommend is कि अगर ये area ऐसी जगह पर हो, जहां पर future में और भी area को include किया जा सके. So, say as an example, आज आप 700 square feet के साथ start कर रहे हो, लेकिन there is an another building right next to it or another shop right next to it, जिसको आप बाद में ले सकते हो, and it will make your area double, then this would be ideal location. Now, also important to understand कि plant में we want to keep the rentals under control. The reason is that plant directly customer को cater नहीं करेगा. Collection centers would be catering to the customers, and hence it is strongly recommended that plant should be located in an area where the rental is under control. तो जैसे कि आपका outskirts of the city हो गया, industrial zone हो गया, ऐसे areas हो गए जहां पर rental कम हो, ऐसे areas में plant setup करना will make a lot of sense. आपकी territory में जितने भी collection centers होंगे, they will have to mandatorily send all the clothes to the centralized plant, and the entire setup works like an assembly model. तो इसमें क्या होता है, जब कलेक्शन सेंटर से कपड़े कलेक्ट होके प्लांट पर आएंगे, तो पहले वो रिसेप्शन पे जाएंगे, वहां पर कपड़ों को क्रॉस चेक किया जाएगा, फिर वो ड्राई क्लीनिंग या लॉन्ड्री में जाएंगे, फिर आयरनिंग में जाएंगे, स्पॉटिंग में जाएंगे, and they will go to the dispatch, and from the dispatch they will send to the collection center. So entire model works like an assembly line factory, जहां पर सारा प्रोसेस प्री-डिफाइंड है, सारा मैन पावर ट्रेन है. Now, when we talk about the collection center, and this is a very interesting opportunity, especially for investors from Delhi NCR, Lucknow, Jaipur, Kolkata, and Guwahati. Yahan par you only need about 100 square feet of area to set up your collection center. Your investment requirement is as little as 5 lakh rupees, जिसमें 3 lakh की franchise fee है and आपका 2 lakh का setup cost आता है in setting up that collection center. Now, those who are a master franchise, for them it will also be important to understand कि आपकी टेरिटरी में जितने भी कलेक्शन सेंटर्स खुलेंगे उसकी फ्रेंचाइज फी प्लांट एंड कलेक्शन सेंटर के बीच में 50-50 बेसिस पे स्प्लिट होगी. So you also have an advantage. The moment you open, there's a collection center that opens up anywhere within your territory, the entire franchise fee gets split 50-50 between you and the brand. This is again a very technology-led business. We will be providing you a dedicated software from which all the billing, all the customer management would be done. And hence, this can also be a side business. तो अगर आप कहीं प्रोफेशनली काम करते हैं या आपका कोई और बिजनेस ऑलरेडी है तो आप 5 लाख रुपए लगाकर एक आराम से एक कलेक्शन सेंटर सेटअप कर सकते हैं. We will be providing you trained manpower for that collection center and you can run the show sitting anywhere in the world. बिकॉज सारा ऑपरेशंस जो है वो तो प्लांट पर होगा, स्टोर पर हो नहीं सकता. द एंटायर बिजनेस इज कंट्रोल्ड थ्रू द यूज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी एंड हेंस द चांस ऑफ एनी लीकेज इज एब्सोल्युटली जीरो. Now this is the overall collection center model. Like I explained before, 5 lakh में 3 lakhs plus GST is the franchise fee and 2 lakhs is the cost of setting up of the collection center, and the franchise fee would be split on a 50-50 basis between the plant or the master franchise and the brand. और जितना भी रेवेन्यू आएगा कलेक्शन सेंटर पे, सो फॉर एग्जांपल आपने एक महीने में 2 लाख रुपए का रेवेन्यू किया तो दैट विल बी शेयर्ड ऑन अ 50-50 बेसिस बिटवीन द प्लांट एंड द कलेक्शन सेंटर. बिकॉज एज अ कलेक्शन सेंटर आपका ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंसेस बिल्कुल नेग्लिजिबल है. इट इज जस्ट द मैन पावर कॉस्ट, द रेंटल एंड सम मिसलेनियस कॉस्ट. सारा प्रोसेसिंग का खर्चा, आपके कलेक्शन सेंटर से पिकअप करना, आपके कलेक्शन सेंटर पे ड्रॉप करना, पैकेजिंग करना, ये सारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी प्लांट की है. Hence, all the revenues will be shared on a 50-50 basis between the collection center and the plant. And very importantly, this is a zero royalty model when it comes to the collection center. So as a brand, we would not be charging any royalty to the collection center. The only royalty would be charged to the plant, which will be directly proportional to the volumes of the clothes that the plant is cleaning on a per day basis. As a collection center, your only responsibility is to pick up the dirty clothes from the customer's home and deliver the clean clothes back to the customer's home once you receive them from the plant. We are immediately looking at opening collection centers in Delhi NCR, Lucknow, Jaipur, and Kolkata. We already have collection centers in these cities. So Kolkata, we have 2 collection centers. Jaipur, we have 2 collection centers. Lucknow, we have 3 collection centers. And Delhi NCR, we have almost 40 collection centers. So there's a unique opportunity, and this entire 5 lakh you will be able to recover in less than 12 months. Now, another very unique opportunity that has come up because of the partnership with White Tiger is that very recently FedEx has also partnered with White Tiger. Now, what does this entail is that अगर आप एक existing collection center operator हो White Tiger के, तो आपके पास opportunity है कि same premise से आप FedEx की courier services भी offer कर सकते हैं. अगर आज आप एक FedEx की franchisee लेने जाएंगे तो FedEx expects you to pay them 3.5 lakh rupees for getting the rights of FedEx, plus you will have to rent out a space of 100 square feet, plus you will have to employ a team of 2 people to run that FedEx courier service. But if you, as a White Tiger franchisee, when you take the rights of a FedEx, आपको सिर्फ 30,000 rupees invest करना है. आपको 2 लोगों की टीम की जरूरत भी नहीं होगी बिकॉज आपके पास ऑलरेडी White Tiger का trained manpower है. FedEx team would be training the same manpower on running the FedEx operation. So your incremental expense in terms of operating expense is zero. Your initial investment is just 30,000 rupees and you're able to offer FedEx courier and logistics services from the same premise from where you're offering White Tiger services. So this opportunity is open to all White Tiger partners who are already in the system and are also looking to become a FedEx franchisee. Now, the last question is why should someone partner with White Tiger? The first thing that you need to understand is that when we are talking about partnering with White Tiger, we are talking about a partnership with a laundry and dry cleaning company. लास्ट 2 सालों में आपने देखा होगा कोविड-19 के कारण बिजनेसेस बुरी तरह से इम्पैक्ट हुए हैं. जो ट्रेडिशनल बिजनेसेस हैं जैसे कि रेस्टोरेंट्स हो गए, सैलून्स, प्री स्कूल्स, दे हैव बीन वेरी वेरी बैडली इम्पैक्टेड. But cleaning industry is one rare exception which has been positively impacted by COVID-19 because लोगों को cleaning का importance, लोगों को hygiene की importance समझ में आने लगी है and people are starting to outsource their dirty clothes, dirty bags, dirty shoes, dirty carpets outside. So if we talk about White Tiger, we have actually seen a huge uptake in sales at all our White Tiger collection centers across India during the last 1.5 years because people now want to go to a trusted cleaning expert. तो अब लोगों को डर लगता है अपने लोकल धोबी के पास जाने में बिकॉज उन्हें सैनिटाइजेशन, उन्हें हाइजीन, उन्हें क्लीनिंग की कोई गारंटी नहीं. So they want to come to a trusted brand like White Tiger where they know that all the best standards of cleaning, all the best standards of hygiene and sanitization are being followed. The brand has 20 years of experience in premium dry cleaning and laundry, something that no other brand has. At the same time, you would be receiving extensive marketing support from the White Tiger team. So whether it is online marketing, whether it is guidance on digital marketing, whether it is guidance on pan-India marketing, all this marketing and promotional support would be provided to you directly by the brand. The entire business is technology-led. So we would be providing you a software and the entire booking, billing, customer management would be done from that single software. We would like to invite you to visit some of our plants so that you can see the state-of-art infrastructure that is there in place. And the responsibility of complete recruitment and training of your manpower. Whether आप collection center लेते हैं या plant लेते हैं, आपको manpower provide करना, उनकी training करना 100% हमारी responsibility होगी. And this is the reason why it makes a lot of sense to invest in a White Tiger franchisee today. So that's it from my side. Happy to take up any questions that anyone might have.
Thank you so much, Pratap, for this wonderful presentation. I believe every aspect has been defined and explained very well. And for all our friends who have joined, you would also be pleased to know Arnab is a very seasoned entrepreneur. And apart from also running the company that we've talked about, the White Tiger, he also runs the biggest laundromat chain in the country, which is uClean. And if you look at businesses today, they're changing in more fundamental ways to make their businesses more sustainable and profitable for their partners. And that is what White Tiger has done in the last, I would say 3 or 4 years, ever since they have started inviting partners and franchising. And innovation, we all understand, is a very important aspect of business. And it is happening not just on product and services, but it is happening more on the business model by rethinking how the company is able to not only create value, but also deliver and capture that value. So White Tiger, being a pioneer in dry cleaning, has also brought technology, which comes as a very big rescue. Traditional businesses, they come with a very big operational hassle and challenge. And in order to counter this challenge, companies like White Tiger, they have actually made technology as table stakes in the business, and they've actually institutionalized the whole organized process of dry cleaning. And so this is what White Tiger brings to you. So very quickly, I'll reiterate the model for all of you friends. This is a hub and spoke model as explained. And in current cities where there is already a plant, we're looking at collection partners, which starts as about 5 lakhs of investment. But anywhere outside these 5 cities, outside Delhi, NCR, Kolkata, Lucknow, we're looking at area franchisee who can have a collection center of about 8 to 10 around the hub. And on the company, they already have their systems which are proven. They currently have their brand presence and successful partners operating in the clusters that we talked about. The business overall, I would say, is manageable business. It is not a very complex business to be managed. It's an idiot-proof model which comparatively would come with low operating expenses and manpower. And also no skilled manpower is required. And also because they have technology as their important, I would say, value add to their partners. Route optimization also comes as a very big advantage. which makes logistics very, very efficient. Many players were not able to scale was, I would say, tech piece. And I would also say optimization, which was missing in the model. And this is what White Tiger brings to you. And I will request friends, if you have any questions, put in the Q&A box, and we'll start taking these questions with Aruna. And if you look at the business overall and from the convenience point of view, this is what consumers today look at, be it quality services, quick turnaround time, and most importantly, sorted logistics. These are things which make the consumer choose one player over the other. So business of White Tiger, they've understood this very well, and this is what they've integrated in their business model. And I'll pick some questions from our investors also, which I see coming in. And Vikashji, you want to ask some questions, please go ahead and we'll take up these questions. Just to start off, Arnav, we've talked about two models, the area franchise model with an overall capital outlay of about 45 odd lakhs. And then every area franchisee would have collection centers of 8 to 10. And you also mentioned in your presentation that these hubs have to be easy access to the collection centers. So maybe places like Bombay, Bangalore, where we have big distance, specifically, when we talk about even South Bombay would be very different to other. So what is the, I would say, radius that we're looking at for a typical area franchisee? If you're looking at Bombay as a territory or a Bangalore as a territory, typically, how many partners do we look at a business like that to have in a city as large as these? One, and how different would that be if I look at maybe a smaller city, which is maybe a tier 2 city?
Sure. So very rightly said, if we talk about a large city like Bangalore, Hyderabad, or Mumbai, we are very clear that one single master franchisee or one single plant, regardless of how big or how heavy investment that plant is, would not be able to cater to the entire city, because logistically it would be a very big challenge, and logistically it would never make sense. So that is why when we talk about a city like Bangalore, we are looking at least 3 master franchise partners, and each master franchisee would then be catering to 15 to 20 kilometer radius from the location of the plant. The plant location, like I said before, our recommendation is that it should be on the city outskirts or in an industrial area, so that the rentals are under control. And then if I take that location as the center of the circle, I would say that I would be able to carve out a circle of 15 to 20 kilometer radius, and all the collection centers that fall within that circle would then be catered to by the plant.
Okay. And is the area franchise agreement for a longer term? How long would that be? And within what time frame you feel? We've talked about minimum of 10 to about 8 to 10 collection centers, which an area franchisee can have within the location which is given to him. So typically, what is the time frame within which you suggest these 8 to 10 centers would come in? Because the area franchisees optimization would only come in when these collection centers are in full operations, they're running. So what is your guidance on this to your investors, especially the area franchisee?
Right. So the quicker we open the collection centers and the quicker these collection centers become profitable, it would also translate into a quicker ROI for the area master franchise partner. But so what our recommendation would be that, since we would also be working very closely with each city master franchise on maximizing the potential for that territory. So our target would be that we should be able to open these 10 collection centers within 1.5 to 2 years. Now, the master franchise agreement or the city master agreement would be for a 10-year duration, as opposed to the collection center agreement, which would be for a 5-year duration. So we would expect that they should be able to recover the entire investment in 2.5 to 3 years. And for the next 7 years, they would be able to maximize the opportunity that their territory is presenting.
And Anna, would you also want to maybe give some guidance on the operating expenses, and especially for a collection center, it is not very high. You need to look at some kind of rentals and the manpower. But looking from a maybe area franchisee perspective, and you mentioned it needs to be on the outskirts where you don't have very high rentals. What is the typical cost for operations one would have for an area franchise? I would say for maybe the hub model, so to say.
Sure. So I'll actually talk about our area's master franchise for Gurgaon or for Lucknow as an example. And if you look at our Lucknow plant today, the rental there is about 35,000 rupees. And if I talk about the Gurgaon plant, the rental is about 50,000 rupees. And both these are about 700 to 800 square feet in area. So apart from the rental, there would be a cost of manpower. So a typical plant, obviously, the more the load, the more the collection centers, the more the load, the more will be the operating expenses. But you would need a team of 6 to 8 people to manage this entire plant, which will include your dry cleaning machine operator. It will include your iron men. It will include your delivery boys, the dispatch guy, the quality guy. So a team of about 8 people is what you would need, which would roughly translate into about 1.2 to 1.3 lakhs as salary outlay on a month-on-month basis. Apart from that, everything else. So the rental, which is about 50 to 60,000 rupees, and the salary, which is about 1.2 lakh rupees, are your two fixed expenses, which would typically not change month over month. Rest everything, when I talk about whether it is chemical, whether it is electricity consumption, water consumption, detergent consumption, packaging material consumption, and the petrol cost incurred in pickup and drop, it translates roughly into about 15 to 18% of your sales volume. So if you're doing a sales of say 2.5 lakh rupees, you would roughly incur about 30 to 35,000 rupees as your variable expenses.
So while I'll pick up some questions I see on the chat and also in the Q&A, I wanted to check, Arnab, if somebody is taking an area franchisee, is he also expected to own or operate one collection center? Is that something which is mandatory for him, or do you advise that he should operate at least one collection center?
Yes, so it is not mandatory, but like I said before, that we would ideally want the plant to be placed in an area where your rentals are typically low and under control, which would mean that you would be far away from the residential population. So in order to ensure that you're getting some business right from day one, we would strongly recommend that you have one collection center of your own, which is located in a prime residential area, so that you start getting business from day one. And in fact, for city master franchisees who are willing to do this, we are waiving off the franchise fee for the first collection center. So they only need to invest about 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees on the infrastructure of that collection center.
And now I'll take some questions with respect to pricing and many other questions which I do see on the screen. But before that, I wanted to also understand, typically when we talk about dry cleaning as an industry, what are the margins that prevail in the industry? And since we have two tiers, we have a unit which is operating at the collection center, and the entire expenses, I would say, is that of a hub, which includes chemicals and maybe the manpower deployed at the unit level is comparatively low. So what margin sharing are we talking about in terms of this relationship between these two tiers is one of the questions. And typically this industry operates on what the kind of margins?
Sure. So to answer the first question, the revenue sharing between the collection center and the plant would be 50-50. So as an example, if I'm dry cleaning a shirt and I'm charging you 80 rupees, 40 rupees would be the share of the plant and 40 rupees would be the share of the collection center. Now, when you talk about the dry cleaning business, it is a very, very high margin business. So if I leave aside the fixed cost, your expenses, when you dry clean a shirt for say 80 rupees, your expense on dry cleaning that shirt, which is your electricity cost, your chemicals cost, your packaging material, the petrol cost incurred in picking up that cloth and delivering it back to the customer, is roughly about 15%. So you are spending about 12 rupees on dry cleaning that piece of shirt, which you are dry cleaning at 80 rupees. So even when you give 40 rupees to the collection center as a plant, you still have a margin of 28 rupees. And the more expensive the cloth, the bigger the item, the higher is the margin. Your shirt, which you dry clean only for 70 to 80 rupees, is your low margin, low revenue business. But when you talk about something like a lehenga or a gown, you would be charging anywhere upwards of 400 rupees. And your margin after all the expenses and after sharing the revenue with the collection center would be as high as 200 to 300 rupees on that lehenga.
And what is a typical business collection center would make and what is the kind of neighborhood you're looking at? So are we looking at some specific neighborhoods where you would open, and out of that neighborhood also, what is your guidance on the number of households ideally that should subscribe to those services? While this might not be a subscriber model, but I understand if I have say 30-40,000 of neighborhood and I have a certain percentage of that taking my services. So, and that is on how should one select an area. So if I would like to go ahead, look for an area, typically what household would that be? And out of that household, what is your estimate of number of people who would take the service?
Sure. So I'll talk about a typical collection center, and uh, what we have seen is that a typical collection center of White Tiger is able to generate a sales of 2.5 to 3 lakh rupees by the time it is about 8 to 9 months old. When I'm talking about a sales of say 2.5 to 3 lakh rupees, I'm talking about a per day sales of about if I talk about a sales of say 3 lakh rupees, I'm talking about a per day sales of about 10,000 rupees. Now in that 10,000 rupees, an average customer ticket size is roughly about 800 rupees. So what I need on a per day basis is only about 10 to 12 customers that should be giving their dry cleaning to me. And when you look at the dry cleaning business, you would realize that the same customer typically comes to you twice a month. So what I'm looking at is over a period of 1 month, if I need 300 customers, I would have about 200 customers that are unique, and then there would be about 100 customers that are coming back to me again. So even if I'm in a territory where the population is about 10,000 households within 3 to 4 kilometer radius, that would be more than enough, because even if I'm able to tap into 0.5% of those customers, and assuming that the remaining don't come to me, I would still be able to get to a stage where I'm making profits of about 50,000 rupees per month, which is a very good profit given that it helps you recover your entire investment in less than 12 months.
Very helpful. Now I'll go ahead, asking some of the questions which I'm seeing in the chat. This is Roshanji. I don't know which city you're talking about, but he would like to know what is the pricing model for our customers. And when we talk about pricing, do we go city wise or do we have standard pricing across all the services that we offer? Is what he would like to know.
Yeah, so pricing is city specific. And what we do is we have an analytics team. So whenever we enter into a new city, the analytics team's first job is to understand the prevailing price points in the city, understand the input costs. So understand the rentals, understand the manpower cost, the electricity cost, etc. for that particular city. And basis that, they come up with the pricing for that particular city. So when to put things into perspective, we would be more expensive than your local launderers. We would be more expensive than your local dhobi, but we would be at par with any quality dry cleaner or any quality launderer that is there in your city.
I'll take another question from Mr. Lanan. His question is, what is the average cost of manpower for a collection center?
Sure. So again, this would vary from city to city. When I talk about a city like Delhi, the average manpower cost would be 30,000 for the two team members put together. So 15,000 per month is what you would be paying your store manager, and 14 to 15,000 to the delivery boy. When you go to a city like Lucknow or Guwahati, this typically tends to go down by 10 to 15%.
Sure. And I have another question from Mr. Pereira. He says payments which are received from the clients, are they managed by the area franchisee or that comes directly to the collection center? Any further share of collection center to a area master to a franchisee? Okay, that's his question. So who manages these? Does it go to the unit franchise or that goes to the area franchisee? Who manages these payments from the clients?
Sure. So, like I explained before, it is the collection center's responsibility to manage the customer. So the plant manages the collection center, and the collection center manages the customer. And when I talk about management of customer, it includes everything: collection of payment, ensuring timely delivery, ensuring timely information and updates to the customer. So the collection center would be doing all the collection directly from the customer, and there would be a weekly settlement that would happen between the collection center and the plant. So the plant would be raising an invoice basis the volumes of clothes and the value of clothes that have been cleaned every 7 days. And then within 2 days of raising of the invoice, the collection center is required to make the necessary payment to the plant.
And I have somebody, while Kolkata, we already have a plant. We have Mr. Sujan Saha from Kolkata. He says, I'm from Kolkata. I'm interested to set up a plant. Please let me know what would be the total investment. And please let me know how many collection centers one may look at. And Sujanji, we might also need to understand which part of Kolkata are we talking about. And all the estimates of, I would say, the ROI income projections are actually based on what location are we looking at, what is the potential of collection centers in that location. But Arnab, because we're already running one plant, we discussed that in our presentation. Are we looking at more partners in Kolkata at this point in time?
Sure. So we can explore that. We already have a plant in Garia area of Kolkata. So depending on where Mr. Sujan is interested, my suggestion would be I would love to get on a one-on-one call directly with Mr. Sujan to better understand his plans, which area he wants to get into, and we can explore this further.
It is North Kolkata. Sujanji, we can get on a call with you to understand. So Sujanji is from North Kolkata. I'll quickly take maybe 2 or 3 questions because of the paucity of time that we have. And we have somebody from Bangalore. He says, I would be interested to put up a collection center in Bangalore, but and friends, because this is a hub and spoke model, we cannot have a collection center unless we have an area franchisee for Bangalore. So we can come back to you, Lalanji, in case you're looking for only a collection center for Bangalore. But this stage, we don't have a hub operating out of there. So we might not be able to entertain, but our teams at White Tiger can get back to you with the same. And okay, I'm also seeing another city. And while the city is where we don't have a plant, it is a city in South Khammam. So, and typically, if we talk about tier 2 locations, is there a potential, Arnab, that you see in locations like Khammam? So, and while I take that as an example, we might not be able to service because we don't have a hub. But if we look at smaller cities, do you think a brand which is a premium you mentioned would have a potential in smaller locations like Khammam?
Yes, so I would say absolutely yes. The reason for that is depending, like I said, that the pricing for a given city would also factor in the input costs in that particular city. So obviously, when we talk about a city like Khammam, the rentals and the manpower cost would be on the lower side, and hence the pricing can be curated accordingly for that particular city. The potential in terms of collection centers might be relatively lesser. So maybe one plant plus 4 or 5 collection centers. But because all the other input costs are under control, I feel it would make a lot of sense even to get into a city like Khammam.
And Mr. Shushri from Odisha, he's looking, we don't know your city, sir. So you need to also mention what city you're interested in. But we don't have any plant in Odisha as we speak. So we'll not be able to put up a plant. And great, I have a lot of inquiries coming with respect to the collection centers. And I'll take one last question from Mr. Vikas Mutta. He's from Bangalore. He says, who will take care of the machine maintenance and what are the rate cards of different services offered and how competitive would these rates be compared to the other? I think Vikas, you've already answered that. We'll be little premium as compared to the unorganized and maybe some of the local players, but we'll be happy to discuss on that. But we can take on the question on the machine maintenance is one question which he asked. And maybe I'd like to club another question because this investment for an area would require investment on the machines. So is there some kind of financing also which can be made available to a partner and he can take advantage of that?
So we could look at, so we have in the past also franchise partners have taken loans from multiple banks, both private as well as the PSUs. So that is definitely there because White Tiger now is a very credible brand name. So banks are more than happy to extend equipment-based loans or even project loans because of the name of brand White Tiger. We can help you in terms of documentation and all. But what we would recommend is that you should typically reach out to the bank where you are currently maintaining your bank account. In terms of maintenance, the maintenance would be directly done by us. We work with very reputed equipment partners in India. So in case whenever you face any issues, you only have to raise the issue to us, and it is our responsibility as your brand partner to then coordinate with the equipment supplier and ensure that the equipments are serviced in the shortest possible time.
Okay. You did mention it's a zero royalty model, so a collection center need not pay any kind of royalties. Is there something which an area franchisee pays on a monthly basis to the company?
Right. So there's no royalty for the collection center. There is a direct royalty for the area franchisee, which is directly proportional to the number of clothes that you're going to get at the plant. So the lower the number of clothes, the lower is the royalty. So we charge 3 rupees per piece for up to 5,000 pieces per month. Then 4 rupees for incremental business over 5,000 to up to 10,000. And then 5 rupees per piece for any clothes more than 10,000. And the logic behind is that it also motivates us. It also helps us set internal targets to make sure that maximum number of collection centers open in your territory and that they reach their peak volume in the shortest possible time. So it becomes a win-win. We take a target. We want to make sure that you're getting more than 10,000 pieces of clothes every month at your store. so that our royalty is also higher and your profitability is also higher.
Sure enough. That's very helpful. And Rupeshi, we don't have any plant in Hyderabad. Yes, there are plans to come with a plant in Hyderabad in the immediate future, I would say. And if you're looking for opening a plant, we can discuss. But if it is a question with respect to a collection center, that would need time till we have a bigger partner coming in. And I hope I've covered as many questions as I could, friends. And considering that we have reached the top of here for us to close, Pranav, I'll request any message as a concluding remark that you have for everybody who's present and listening to you.
So my only last 2 cents would be that whoever is getting into the cleaning industry and whoever is looking to partner with a dry cleaning brand like White Tiger, it is very important to understand that this is one business that is devoid of glamour. So this, unlike the restaurant business or the preschool business, this is not a glamorous business. But because of COVID-19, now this has become a no-nonsense, highly profitable business if you are willing to put your time and effort. So especially when we talk about area city franchisees or the city master franchisees, we would look at partners who are willing to invest their time and energy. So obviously you're investing capital, but at the same time, we would also require you to invest your time and energy so that you can work closely with us on building your territory and maximizing the potential of your plant. For collection center, we are absolutely open to people who are even looking it as a side business opportunity.
Sure, that's very helpful. And I think I'll also take one more question, which is from Mr. Roshan Pereira. He says, what is your input to increase the market share? And maybe what you can extend on that. Typically, any market share depends on the subscriber that business has. So more subscribers you have, more business you would have. And you also need to engage with your customers so that you have a repeat business, especially a business like this. Retention is very, very important while you go out and acquire new customers, but retention is very, very important. So Arnab, your maybe remarks on this based on the experience that you have on successful running collection centers you've been doing, and maybe across other businesses also you've been.
Sure. So as I said before also that we have consciously created a staggered royalty model where the more business you get, the more is our royalty. So that is straight away a reflection of why we would also be interested in maximizing the potential for each collection center and thereby the potential for the plant as well. But to explain to it, like I said before, we would be investing heavily on promoting the business online. Especially when you look at a business like laundry and dry cleaning, you would realize that a lot of decision making is done online where people search on Google, people search on Facebook. So you would see that we are very active there. We are very aggressively promoting our brand in areas where we are already present to make sure that customers are able to discover us and place an order at the earliest possible.
Sure, that's very, very helpful. And friends, I would request all of you, whosoever wants to reach out and speak to Mr. Arnab Sinha on a one-to-one, especially with respect to the plant. And also collection centers are open only for cities where we have a hub in place, which is primarily, I would say, north of India, including Delhi, NCR. We have UP, which is Lucknow, where we have a plant, Kolkata. These are the locations we already have a plant. But any other cities outside would need somebody to come as an area franchisee, and subsequently we will open collection centers. And we'll connect you with Arnab for discussion on the business model in detail. And Ashna, can I request if we have a date already with us where we want to do a discovery day? Ma'am, 3rd of September. Sure. So friends, this is 2 days from now. So we have 31st today and 31st and 3rd. So 3rd is the date where we would like to do a discovery day. And our teams at Franchise India will start blocking your time with Arnab. And you can also share the details. If you already have some infrastructure location in place where you want to put up a plant, please share that. So our meeting time can be very, very productive. Thank you so much, Arnab, for being with us. And I'd like to also thank all our friends who joined us on this webinar. And also because Arnab had not been well, he recently met with an accident. Arnab, you made an effort to come to the event, and he's recently, I think, been also released from the hospital. So we wish you a very speedy recovery, Arnab, and we look forward to making White Tiger a big success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ashna,
thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Arnab, and our best wishes with you. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am, for joining in today. All the dear friends, we really want to thank you for the registration of this particular webinar, attending the webinar,
You interacted digitally with Sonia ma'am as well as Arnav. Please, for more information, you can reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 97176 Also connect with us at a different social handles. We are available at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, as well as Instagram. And you want more guidance, more information from the management team of Franchise India, you can get so by joining them at the LinkedIn platform. Information as well as link we have just shared on our screen. And we really want you to allow us to host you for 2 big days. We are celebrating 2 days of business buying festival on 4th and 5th of September in JW Marriott. We have invited 150 plus brands to showcase their business model. You have a chance to meet founders, leadership team of these 150 brands. Want more information? Connect with Franchise India team so that you get more information about these 2 days as well as our flow information. And today under our Bharat Franchise Show, we are inviting you to join us sharp at 7 p.m. under our Central India chapter, where we have invited brand founders from 5 different companies. So do registration. You can do registration by joining us at the Facebook page where we have shared the link, or also reach out to us at our hotline number. And tomorrow we are again bringing a very low cost opportunity for you at Draw Lubricants. It's a distribution opportunity where you can be associated with the company just with the investment of 10 lakh rupees. You want to have more and more clarity as well as understanding about this brand. Registration is required to attend this webinar. Again, reach out to us either at our business hotline number, or you can also visit us at the Facebook page. So look forward to have you in our flow on 4th and 5th of September. Today's Bharat Franchise Show at 7 p.m. Tomorrow's 12 p.m. webinar. Thank you so much once again for joining in today. Have a very safe day ahead. Thank you so much.